Hillary Clinton's hotness, the Pulse stats on what's
on what women want,
and how to find Mr. or Ms. Right in 2013 on Game Over.
Welcome to Game Over. I'm Charles J. Orlando.
And I'm Lisa Stedman.
And this is the show that brings you real, harsh truth. Real,
Sometimes.
live love advice sometimes, but we're always kind. We're glad that you're here today,
Yep.
and we're going to get to a variety of things. Stick around for live advice at the end of the show today, but why don't we start out with something we were talking about before the show.
Are we talking about Hillary Clinton?
Let's talk about what's hot. Lisa's going through it. She's a little under the weather,
I'm
right?
achy, you guys. I apologize. I'm achy, but I'm here. So two phrases, excuse me as I spit, that I never thought I would say together. Hillary Clinton
hot
is a hot bitch.
Now, why is that? Talk about that.
Okay, so I happened to be in my flu-ridden state last night while watching TV and falling asleep. Barbara Walters' Most Fascinating People was on. Hillary Clinton was one of the people featured.
Right.
Here's what I love about Miss Hillary, and I'm clapping again. Jesus, I'm an over-enthusiastic cheerleader. So, you know, Hillary Clinton's been in politics for about 20 years now. She's Secretary of State right now. She has been to like hundreds of countries over the last 365 days.
Well, and arguably, maybe inarguably, the one of the most powerful women in the world.
Yes.
Right.
And what I love is that Hillary's decided to take a step back from what is traditionally expected, which would be a second term as Secretary of State, keep riding that track higher and higher, maybe make a run for the presidency in 2016. Right. And she's not necessarily canceling any of that out, but she is saying she's taken some time for her. And I love this because it's all too easy for women especially to be people pleasers. And especially when we have success or perceive success, we want to keep it going. And I love that she's just in a space in her life where she's like, I'm going to do something for me. I'm going to do philanthropy. I'm going to get some rest. I love it.
Well, and I like that, right? It speaks to what we talk about a lot, which is that even though you have a career or you're in a relationship or whatever, like you're still a person on the inside.
You have your
own wants and needs and desires, and it sounds like her stuff has changed.
Yeah.
Which also speaks to something we warn everybody in relationships about, and that is that that people do change over the course of a relationship, right?
It's only natural if you're an evolutionary person, and we all are. And what I like is that she's honoring what's right for her.
That's very cool, and it's rare for a woman in power who's reached kind of the pinnacle of her success to say, you know what, I've reached this and now I'm going to take a step back. We'll see what happens though. Someone who's got that much drive, I would bet you a lot of money that in 4 years she will make a run.
Give her a little rest, she'll be fine. And I say that's a hot ticket, and you might add a little Michelle Obama to that ticket. I think that'd be a super hot ticket.
Wow, that would be. So Hillary, we vote you hot.
Woohoo!
Yeah, I want to talk about some interesting data, right? And if you're familiar with the show, we do go into some data, and we call it the Pulse. So 1,000 women polled.
1,000 women.
And we are conducting these
I love these
polls.
surveys. You're good. You're good.
They're on my fan page at facebook.com/theproblemismen, and they are asked occasionally. But we asked 1,000 women to list the most important attributes she would want in a man, you know, and what would be at the top of that list. And the four that right, I get it. But the four that bubbled to the top, and let's see what you have to say about this, were culture, meaning well-read, well-traveled, worldly.
Okay, love that.
Wealth, which really translates to security.
Stability, financial stability.
Right. Being well-endowed, which translates to girth. Got it. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was interesting.
There's a difference, ladies, right? Am I right? Like, we do not need, when we're having sex, to feel like you're penetrating our appendix. We just want to feel.
No, it was actually opposed when I said that. I said well endowed, and then I said girth, and you went. So that's a whole different show.
Width, right?
So,
ladies, are you with me?
Culture, wealth. I almost said wit. Jesus. Culture, wealth, being well endowed, and a sense of humor. 1,000 responses, 91%.
Well endowed.
Sense of humor.
Oh, okay. Just must be me.
That's the 90. Clearly the 9% is right here.
My ladies,
right?
move it.
But no, it's not that the other things didn't matter. Obviously, you combine these four things, and you end up with a pretty well-rounded guy. No pun intended. But sense of humor, you know, is.
But you know, I think that's such a cop-out.
Why?
Everyone says they want a guy with a nice sense of humor, but if you get some slacker who's funny, you're gonna get
totally.
pissed.
No,
you're gonna be done with him in an instant.
So, note to men, and this was something that I covered at length at the end of the survey. Like, so you'll be perceived a lot funnier with a fucking job, right? Like, so go get employed, and she'll think you're hilarious.
Well, so the perfect case in point. Did you ever see the movie The Tao of Steve?
No.
Great movie, The Tao of Steve. This guy, Donald something, I can't remember his last name. Really great movie about a slacker who tries to turn his life around for a girl. And he's super charming and he bags babes all throughout the movie. And he finally wakes up and realizes he's in love with this one, whatever. And it's about if he's going to be able to win her back.
Right.
But it's like, we all have this fantasy of that lovable loser who's like funny and makes us laugh. But at the end of the day, I think all those other things are actually more important. We want to feel stable and secure. We want to know that when we're in bed, and well endowed is relative, right?
Right,
Some ladies are built for like a wide load. Some are not. So, you know.
It's digressing quickly. We want to hear what you have to say. If you weren't one of the 1,000, please log on to facebook.com/thegameovershow. Leave your comments. Out of those four, culture, wealth, being well endowed, sense of humor, what do you think is the most important? If you're watching this on demand, comment anyway, we want to hear.
Yep.
Now, if you're single, going into the holidays into 2013, we're talking to you. It's time for He Said.
She Said.
I just love that music, right?
I know, it's so sexy.
Yeah, it's awesome. All right, so let's talk about what keeps people not finding the right love.
Okay.
Because there's a bunch of singles, right? Some people have just gotten out of a relationship.
Some people have been single for a long time.
Some people have been single for a long time.
Some people are just getting divorced.
Right. Some people are just coming through that stuff. And we did a show a couple of weeks ago around being single for the holidays.
Yes.
But this is really
you are not a zero because you're minus a +1. Remember that.
But so if you haven't seen that yet, check it out on demand. But what we're really talking about here is prepping yourself for the coming year.
Yes.
And establishing a foothold into really what you want from
setting
yourself in life.
up for success.
Yes.
Is what I think we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Yes. So, okay, can we jump into this?
Please.
Okay, so I want to start by saying that just because you are single does not make you a loser at love. I think a lot of people, especially if you've been single for a while or if you've been dating and only getting like a second date but not a third or a fourth or a fifth, you can start to really internalize and label yourself as a failure.
Right.
And the first order of business is to stop the labels, stop the stories, stop telling yourself that you're a hot mess, and just ask yourself, what do I want? And then, how do I get it?
Well, sure, and people who are doing that are really playing old negative tapes in their head, right? So they keep saying a lot of the things like, I'll do it once I do this, or I'm not ready for love because of this, or
I'm too old.
Nobody's going to want a woman who's or a guy who's got 2 kids, or who's successful and powerful and secure. Nobody wants a strong woman. Like there's all this stuff, right? And
all lies.
I call bullshit.
Me too.
I call bullshit across the board.
Game over on the negativity in your brain.
Stop playing negative tapes in your brain, right? But a lot of people are single because they're not settling, right? They're coming out of something.
Yeah, hallelujah. Don't settle. Oh, this is not about settling.
No, but some people would argue, so tell me this, like, if you're not settling, you may be single for a long time. How do you respond to that?
Absolutely.
And you recommend that?
I do. There's nothing. Okay. If the choice is be single or settle, go single every single time. Because if you settle, how happy are you going to be over the long term, or even in the short term? Yeah, you have a date for every party on the planet. You don't want to go to the party because you're depressed.
Right, especially during the holidays. If you want to be warm, get an electric blanket. Okay, you don't have to necessarily.
Or booty calls, whatever.
Well, there is that.
Yeah.
Well, now we're getting into like the real guts of it, right? A lot of people are also not over past relationships, right?
Ooh, game over on new relationship if you're not over the last one.
Right, so
Yeah.
get through that, right?
Well, clear that baggage. Like I always say, instead of carrying the caboose of baggage and putting your ex on the pedestal and saying he was the one or she was the one and comparing everybody to that, and no one's ever going to measure up, right? I say compartmentalize, get a little backpack full of stuff of lessons learned, not so much baggage, and carry that around with you. That's so much more appealing. When you learn your lessons, none of your past can appear to be a failure or a mistake. You just learn your lessons.
And if you're coming through a breakup, Lisa has a bestseller that's out that you should check out, and that's It's a Breakup, Not a Breakdown. Check that out on Amazon for sure. And it's also listed on the channel page here on Ustream, because we do broadcast live also on Ustream. So we have some specific solutions that I think we want to talk about of how to go into 2013 to establish yourself ready for success, getting out of being single. And moving on to whatever the next evolution is. But before we get to those, let's talk about Your Tango.
Your Tango.
Your Tango is our sponsor for the show today.
We love Your Tango.
Great site, right?
Yeah.
I mean, great
awesome
content.
website, yourtango.com.
And you can find them on Facebook at facebook.com/yourtango. And they feature experts that are a combination of dating coaches, relationship coaches, certified therapists. Great place to go. Check them out. So, solutions. How to prep yourself for success for 2013, moving from single to mingle.
Love it. So first of all, I think it's really important, if you have ever set a resolution, New Year's resolution, I'm going to meet Mr. or Ms. Right. What have you done after the resolution to make it a reality? So many of us stop and go, this is what I want, but then we go and do everything the same as we've always done and nothing changes. Whether it's to lose weight, meet Mr. Right, get a new job, pay off debt, whatever it is, we get stuck in old patterns. So the first thing is you've got to ask yourself what I'm doing that's not working. And if I have this goal, how do I get there step by step?
No doubt. Well, and I would also dovetail onto that with, if you go into the year saying, I am going to meet the right person, you may end up settling for a bunch of different stuff. I would say, stop living for other people, start living for yourself, and then the right person will manifest themselves.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? I mean, if you go with a goal of meeting someone, you will. You will absolutely meet someone. The question is, what's the someone, right? So establish that you want to, establish your goals of what you want to do and who you want to meet, but then get into you, and then the right person makes himself apparent.
So get into you, meaning how do you want to spend your time? Where do you want to spend your time? What activities do you want to do? How are you going to put yourself out there in new ways that, number one, make you feel fabulous? So is it taking a salsa dancing class, or going back to school, or changing jobs? Like, those are the things you can do for you. Start going to the gym. You've had that membership forever. We all do that, right? And then once you're really happy with your life, you're going to realize what a catch you are, and you're going to start attracting a different caliber of man or woman, depending on who you're looking to attract. And that will be based on authentically who you are, rather than you hoping and wishing and praying for someone else to complete you.
Definitely, right. Well, I mean, if you're looking for somebody to complete you, you had me at I'm sick. So, but so as you're establishing that, like, what is your goal at the top level? Are you looking for something real and long term, or are you just looking to have fun? As long as you have those expectations set, you can start manifesting and attracting like-minded people, right? And establish those connections with others. Definitely make your intentions known. But you said something that was really important, and that's about dating in the driver's seat.
I love dating in the driver's seat. Can we talk? Can I share?
No.
Okay,
go ahead.
So often, especially as women, we date and we go, oh, I hope they like me. Oh, I hope they call me again. Oh, I hope that and I've so been there contorting myself into a pretzel to try and be who I perceived they wanted me to be. When you date in the driver's seat, you're like, fellas, this is how it is. Like, I love me. If you love me, great. If not, I'm cool with that. And I'm deciding on every day if I want to see you again, not, oh, I hope he wants to see me again.
Right.
So it's really about empowerment. It's not a power struggle, and it's not about I'm the shit. It's just giving yourself permission to stop waiting or hoping or contorting in hopes of being somebody who's likable. You are likable. You are a catch, regardless of size of your thighs, bank account, whatever the things are that you think make you not a catch. Ladies, gentlemen, we're catches.
Sure, and you're also talking about really speaking your mind freely and honestly, right?
Hell yeah.
And I think a key part of that is be willing to say no. Right?
Woo-hoo!
There's nothing wrong with saying no to what's out there, including to yourself. Like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't want that for me. No, that's not appropriate. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to accept what comes. You can accept what you want.
So if you find yourself on an internet date or a speed date or any kind of date and you're talking to somebody and the voice in your head is like, get me the fuck out of here. Listen to that. Don't go on a second or third or fourth date.
And I have that voice playing every day at 2 p.m. Pacific time, right? Every day.
Don't diss our audience. I think that was directed at me.
If you have any other questions or suggestions, we want to hear them. Head over to facebook.com/thegameovershow and let us know your thoughts.
We want to know how you've been successful being single and ready to mingle, or if you need help being single and ready to mingle. We want to help you out.
Definitely. And speaking of help.
Help! I'm clapping again.
We are at the second half of our show where we dish out live street smart love advice, and that's what it's time for. So we do offer you street smart love advice here on the Game Over Show every day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. London, 9 a.m. in Sydney. I love this. This is almost American Sign Language, right? If you have a question, go to facebook.com/thegameovershow and we will address you live but anonymously on the air.
Did you say we will undress you?
Well, some people hear what they want to hear. I said address.
Oh, sorry, different show.
Do we have bubble music, producer Fiona?
Bubble music?
Well, yeah, like stripper heels, bubbles, music.
How dare you?
You started it. Lisa, this one's for you.
Oh, good.
Shall I read to you?
Yes, read
She's
to me.
sick. She's a spoiled brat when she's sick.
Yeah.
Libras. So this is from Elle.
Hi, Elle.
I've been seeing this guy for almost a year now, and we've had issues throughout. And so the relationship is very, very on and off. And he made the decision to make it more off than on, not her. I respected he didn't want anything, and I thought I should move on. And after struggling for a few months, I started seeing somebody else.
Good for you.
And guess what?
He came back.
Of course he came back.
Of course he did.
Right. When she went to see him, they were having a normal conversation.
Why did you go to see him?
Bit of catch up, right? Because you weren't done with your ex, Elle.
What did you call?
Then he proceeded to. So she was dating somebody else. No, they didn't do anything.
Okay.
So they met. He had been with somebody else. She had been seeing somebody else.
He called her.
He called her. They met and they talked. He asked her if she had slept with anybody else while they were apart.
What business is that of his?
I agree with that, but she answered him honestly and said yes.
And did he get mad?
Yes, he did. He was like, you know what, I can't be with you anymore. Right.
Wait, I can't be with you? He left you.
Right, exactly.
So what's the dilemma here?
Well, the dilemma is really like, she's saying, what did I do wrong?
Nothing, okay.
Nothing wrong. Go.
All right, I got this. Elle. He ditched you. He moved on. You moved on. You slept with somebody else. We're human beings. We have sexual needs and emotional needs. He comes back. He asks you who you've slept with, if anyone. I say game over. None of his business, first of all. Number two, now he's deciding he can't be with you again. He already decided that. So what I'm saying, Elle, is game over to him on so many levels.
Right.
At the end of the day, you did nothing wrong. And it's just time to move on.
If he wanted you, he should have stayed. As soon as he left, it was game on for somebody else, right? So,
and your pussy is not his property.
And I have nothing else to say after that.
Game over.
So good
You're
luck with that,
fabulous,
Elle.
Elle.
Yeah,
You're fabulous.
you didn't do anything wrong.
Nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong.
Game over on him.
This one from D.
Hi, D.
Met someone 3 weeks ago. He's a wonderful man. I told him I want to take baby steps because I was recently out of a relationship and was not ready. But then he began calling and texting me like crazy and showing up unannounced, and I felt like he was trying to push me into a relationship. And I told him he's scaring me away. So I backed off because, now we get to the deal, he's going through a divorce. And they are still living in the same house. You know, the economy is just killing divorces,
right? And that's a reality. I hear this a lot.
So I told him I think it'd be better if we took time and he could figure out what he needs to do for himself.
Oh, that's so healthy. I like that.
And it bothered him. He said, yes, he understands, but he asked me to wait for him, and I was truthful. I said I didn't think that he was ready to start a new relationship, and I wasn't ready to start one either because, you know, hearts were not totally healed.
Right. They've known each other for 3 weeks, and he wants her to wait?
Well, yeah. So, did I do the right thing to back away from this man? Yes. Yes, for a variety of reasons, right? If you met him 3 weeks ago and he's ready to, like, move in together, rebound. Okay?
And no emotional boundaries.
Yeah, right?
This dude has no boundaries.
Right.
3 weeks, wait for me. It's not Daniel Day-Lewis and Last of the Mohicans. I will find you. Game over.
Will you do that impression again, please? That was incredible.
I will find you, no matter what it costs.
I love you. It's been 3 weeks. How did Daniel Day-Lewis become Indian? Stop it.
And also Lincoln, and that man just morphs into a whole bunch of people.
So, bottom line, D, no. Like, you backed away probably
So
from a
smart.
hazardous situation, right? And from the rest of your email, you're saying that you also were getting over something. Like, there's no rush to this. Here's the real deal. If it's real, it'll be real now or in a year, right? And in the meantime, you get to figure out he gets to figure out him and clean up that whole marriage that's there because he's still living there, right? Like, pay attention to that, okay?
Can I say something?
No.
D, way to have healthy boundaries. I applaud you for that. I applaud you for that. Sorry, I wasn't supposed to. Producer Fiona asked me not to stand up because I'm out of shot.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's rare, unfortunately, that people take a step back from their relationships or potential relationships to really look at what the deal is.
Yeah.
Totally.
I say 3 weeks. Oh, ladies, if a man says he wants us to wait or is in love in 3 weeks, run!
What the hell is up with that anyway? I hear stories from women who are on internet dates who are like, the guy goes out on one date, they call him for date 2, and it's like, I love you, you know? And I could see us really being together.
No boundaries.
Right.
No boundaries. Could possibly be a sociopath, could possibly be a narcissist. I had an ex-boyfriend who wrote me a card after like 2 dates and said he loved me, and I was foolish enough to fall for it, and he was the biggest train wreck of my life.
And there you have it. Done.
Girth.
Oh my.
Actually, no, that was more well endowed.
You know what? This show is totally over.
I'm emotionally slutty in case anyone hasn't gotten the memo.
And a body condom for tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow, join us on the Game Over Show where Lisa will hopefully be well.
I promise.
And we'll be back. Until then, join us at Facebook.com/The Game Over Show. And remember, you watch us live every day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific. You can find out more at TheGameOverShow.com. Until then, I'm Charles J. Orlando.
And I'm Lisa Stedman.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.